friends, Whimsy here from Crafty Kiwi Mama. I've just set up my little platinum scout machine, and I'm going to run through a die that I want to use for a make that I'm currently working on. I haven't actually filmed the rest of this make. I've sort of been trying to do things in a bit of a hurry or get them through a few at a time, so I haven't filmed all of the footage of the creating of this, but I just thought it's actually quite an easy thing to just show my choices with the die cutter. So I'm just going to step through that process with you, and you can see this really cool die that I'm using here, which says Trick or Treat. I love this. I think this is amazing. It's got such a kind of edgy, grungy look to it. It's very, very cool. I'll show you the piece I'm working on at the moment. Is this incredibly cool piece, which has potion bottles and the most amazing brand new paper from Whimsy Stamps. And I will show a little bit later the feature where it glows in the dark, so there's some pretty cool stuff on that glows in the dark. So at the moment I'm just trying to work out, I want to put Trick or Treat as my sentiment on this. So I've just die cut the pieces, so the treat's going to be down the bottom here, and then Trick or is going to be at the top. And I just worked out that I sort of could make it happen that way. I've been struggling trying to figure out what I was going to use as the sentiment for literally days. And I couldn't quite figure out how to make it work. And then I just went, oh, I can split the two halves of this die apart. They don't have to sit together. The reason I was thinking that is because it comes with an extremely cool shadow aspect to it. It's got a little shadow die. So you would normally cut out the shadow and then put the words Trick or Treat over the top. But if I don't use the shadow, I can do the Trick or Treat aspect of it, separate it in two halves. And yeah, I don't know why my brain was kind of functioning quite so slowly on that particular thought process, but that's the die. How cool is that? And you can imagine sort of Trick or at the top and then Treat down the bottom. And then that solves my problem. I had been thinking for a little while that I wanted to put something like Toxic Treats or something like that. We'd looked at another die. I say we because my hubby's been in the background helping me make choices for things. And I'd gone through several different permutations of what I thought would work for this particular piece. But I've settled on this, and I really like the way it's going to look. So I'm going to speed through actually creating this. I've got another bit that I need to die cut, which I'm going to go and grab some additional paper for. The second layer, I want to do it on the same glow-in-the-dark foil. You may recall we had a sponsor who gave us some really cool product to work with, and one of them was this glow-in-the-dark foil, and I absolutely love it, and I couldn't wait to use it again this year. So I'm literally going to go and grab that. So here's the glow-in-the-dark foil I'm talking about. It's called foil, but it's actually like a plasticky feeling to it, and it's sticky on one side. So it's really easy to work with because it comes sort of ready to adhere. It's got this little sticky back to it. So really quick and easy to work with. So I'm going to die cut the words again from the foil, and you'll see how easily it die cuts. It's actually great little stuff. So just going to cut that off camera quickly just to get it done and bring that back with the elements that we want to die cut and run it through on my little platinum scout again. So that's making all the right noises as it runs through the die machine. So I have high hopes that will have done a really clean cut. I have great success with Whimsy Stamps dies. I just find their dies cut usually really cleanly for me. It's rare, unless it's a really intricate die, that I have issues cutting with their dies. I love their products. They're amazing. So that's the Trick or Treat cut out of the glow in the dark. And you can see as I bring this back, and I'm just going to shift the scout machine. Bear with me for a second. I'll probably edit this malarkey out. I'll just shift that little machine out of the way and bring the make back in to show you what I want to do with this. So I've got a few little elements here that we need to put together. The gorgeous purple cardstock that I'm using is from our lovely sponsor at the moment, Cardstock Warehouse. They're sponsoring us through September and October with some amazing Halloween coloured papers. Not just papers either, but beautiful envelopes and vellum. They've got some beautiful things. What I've used here to do this bottle is actually one of the vellum sheets from Cardstock Warehouse, so really cool. And this purple is their amethyst. It's stunning. It's a really, really lovely deep purple. And it will look amazing, I think, with the background of the glow-in-the-dark. So we'll pop out these little bits. It's just die cut incredibly well. That foil, as I say, called foil, but feels more plasticky than foil. And then if I can put that there, and then we'll do our trick at the top. So we've got trick. I like the K not to overlap the cork, so I have to try and sit it so that it sits in its own space. Trick, and then we have a very tiny little oar. Just get my pokey tool out. And the oar is sitting in the housing still of this little bit, so hopefully that O and R will release. It's just tiny. Super tiny, but cute. I'm just going to poke out the centre of the R. Got little bits flying everywhere. Anyway, fun. Let's carry on with this little aspect that we're working on today. I want to put my treat word. I'm just going to check are my T's identical. If they're not, then we have to make sure we have the right one going with the right bit. I believe that is the T for the lower bit and that is the T for the top bit. I just think this is such an amazing font. Whimsy's really kind of knocked it out the park this year for me with Halloween stuff. They have had so many. I mean, look, let's face it. If you've watched me for any time, you will know I am a Whimsy girl through and through. I adore them as a company and I adore the stuff that they produce and sell. And I've been a long time fan, but just this year they've like next leveled their Halloween stuff. It's amazing. So we're going to do a little shadow behind, and I'm just working out, do I go up or down with the shadow aspect of it? The labels on the bottles are actually washi tape, and it's a new set that Whimsy has come out with that's about to be released on the 20th, so I'm hoping that my video will go live within a very short time of the actual release going live. So it's going to be trick or treat, and I think that looks kind of chaotic but fun at the same time. There'll just be enough sort of glow in the dark behind the lettering for it to really sort of stand out and have a little bit of drama. This is all glow in the dark here. I've used a glow in the dark foil, the same one that I did the letters with, in the background of the bottle, and then I've overlaid it, and it's very hard to see at this stage, but there's actually some tiny little ghosts on the acetate that I laid over the glow-in-the-dark foil. So it says ghostly mist, summon spirits from beyond, and it has these cool little ghosty characters as part of the bottle shape. So that's kind of a neat little extra that when you do get to hold it up close, you can see those tiny details, which are fun. I did some Distress Oxide smushing for this one and then sprayed a bit of mica over the top to get this background pattern in the back of the Witch's Brew one. And yeah, these little labels, they're brand new. They're not so little actually, they're pretty decent sized labels, but they're washi tape and you can just put them on as the labels for the new bottle die kind of accessories, I guess you would call it. They are accessories for the new bottle dies. I think they are so clever and so cool. I've done the corks out of like a craft paper, like heavy cardstock, and then just instead of popping out the little holes that are in there, because it's meant to look like pitted cork, I've left mine in, but I've deepened it so that it looks like it's in shadow slightly, as if they're sort of pitted in. They're not at all pitted in. I just laid them back in again, but just gives a bit of interest to the piece. And if you're curious about where this stunning, stunning paper comes from, that's brand new from the release on the 20th as well, from Whimsy Stamps, and it's amazing. It's very kind of drippy, almost ghoulish looking background papers, but in these very bright greens and purples and some really gorgeous different shades. I'm going to stick down these bits. As I said, I may keep it rolling, but I will speed that process up. Very good. So that's actually fit into that space pretty nicely, and I'm pretty happy with that. So now we've got to just do the or. I think that looks kind of cool. So trick or treat. I think that's going to be my complete piece, and I'm really just so happy with how that's turned out. So take a second to add the glue onto the other bits and get those stuck down. Okay, we'll pull out that little bit that I was just using to shim underneath the letters. And then I think we are done. So that's going to be pretty cool. And we'll take some footage that will show the glow in the dark features of it. But that's the sentiment now added, trick or treat. I think that's so fun. Hope that you enjoyed that. And we'll catch you again in a little bit.